So, as I was saying, way back at the beginning of the game, I did say that once I had more money than I know what to do with, probably around this point, I would go back to the apparel shop in Hea City and just see if I can, like, buy out the apparel shop, and we'll spend 5 minutes playing dress up. Let me see. I also think the other apparel shops in the game will sell you other items, other clothing items. But we'll see how much money I have when I'm done with this. Where was that found? Was that in here? I don't think that was in that shopping mall. I think it was this one. That's the hair cuttery. This one. Alright, so we're just gonna go and talk to the person at the desk, and let's see, how much, these are all 1800, 980, which was a, fantastic GPU back in its day. I'm just gonna go through this list, and we're going to go and... I'm not even really, like, looking at what they look like, because I just want to see how much money I'll have left when I'm done with this. Okay, I actually kind of do like this one. The surfing one. It's got the Pikachu and the wave. That's a good one. So, buying all those shirts only sent me back about 30,000 Pokédollars, which isn't very much. Let's see the pants. Honestly, these kind of all look the same to me. There's not very many choices, but let's go and buy all of these too. Alright, that was like 8,000 Pokédollars. On to the socks. There's also no shoes, bags, eyewear, or hair accessories available in this shop, so I'm definitely gonna buy this whole thing out and probably still have, like, a lot of money left. And I guess, you know, just for fun, I'll go to the other islands too, because this is a completely pointless exercise, but it's the kind of funny, completely pointless exercise that I want to end this series on. Alright, I can't even say that I really know what the difference between any of these socks are. Let's move on to... Okay, there's only two hats. The Trilby hat in black and the Trilby hat in white. Are the other shops gonna sell Trilby hats in, like, Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald also? Alright, here we are in Hea City, on Akala Island, and I'm gonna go and raid the apparel shop in here also. I do kind of wish there was just, like, a buy all button. So here, we can buy shirts, pants, no socks, shoes, backpacks, hats, glasses, and still no hair accessories. I do kind of wish there was, like, a buy all button. These are significantly more expensive. We'll see how many of these we can get through. Alright, so there's some interesting shirts in here to be sure. I think the Surfing Pikachu one from the last time was still my favorite. There weren't actually that many, like, options in this one. Let's also go through the pants. Okay, so except for this one, these were pretty much all just color variations. This one is just, like, so confusing. Why is this the first option in this list? Let's go and have a look at shoes. I can buy shoes now. Those purple ones were kind of neat. Oh, I like these, actually. I do actually really like these. Alright, that's it for the shoes. I gotta remember to actually, like, put those on after this. You know what I probably should do? Is, like, actually visit the apparel shops in Pokemon games. Like, when I'm not, just, like, when I'm in a city. Because they do tend to have a lot of options. Here we have just a baseball cap. That's pretty nice, honestly. It's got the, that little Pokemon sideways square brackets logo thing on it. Let's see. We've also got glasses. Yeah, I don't really like any of these, but just because I'm here and because I do want to blow all my money, let's go and buy all the glasses. Alright. There's not too many of these. I am now down below 300,000. So I've used about half of my money since beginning this, although I used almost all of that here. I didn't really use very much at all on Melemele Island. Yeah, sure. Actually, I should probably actually go into the changing room and select the ones that I want to wear, because I think the ones that I decided I liked was the surfing one, this one. Were there any pants that I decided I liked? Certainly not these. These look weird. Alright, blue pants. I think that'll work. Socks. The socks didn't really impress me. I'm just gonna ignore those just because I can't even see the difference in them anyway. The water shoes I did like. My entire theme here is blue, apparently. Bag, nylon backpack. That's the default, isn't it? Yeah, okay. Oh, that replaces the default is what that does. The hat. The default baseball hat I kind of liked. Oh, what's the Pikachu cap? I don't remember that. Yes, we are going around in that. Alright, and glasses. I didn't like any of the glasses that make you look like a nerd. Alright. Yes, I will, and on to the next city. Alright, here we are in Melemele City. I almost called it Melemele City, but I think that's a different place. And here we are in the apparel store. Let's see. I'm assuming that I'm going to run out of money in here because I use significantly more on Apparel Island. And I expect that trend to continue here. Let's see. Here I actually will be a little bit selective. Oh, there's only 3 choices here? Interesting. I think I like my current one better than all of these, actually. But we're going to go and waste our money anyway. There's only 3 choices here. Are the girls' clothes basically the same design, just a different character model? I know in X and Y, the girl character had a lot more character customization options. There's a lot more pants, is what there are here. But I think as time went on, there are just more choices for everybody in general. You know, those... I was gonna make fun of them, because it looks like they've got, like, paw prints on them. But I don't hate it. Okay, those bright blue pockets on my butt do look really weird, but I don't hate it. Alright, let's go and see the rest of these. Alright, so none of the pants in here really stood out to me, but we are going to go and waste our money on... There's a lot of shoes options, too. Oh, no, there's not. Yeah, I think I still like my water shoes best. We're just going to go and leave those, but we will buy all these out first. Down to 123,000 Poké Dollars. We've got options for backpacks now. Alright, I guess I should probably turn around. Let's see. Gray. These just are the different colors. No different designs. Alright. Starting to run out of money. Down to 39,000. Let's see. We've also got, of course, hats. Oh, there's... Judging by the size of that scroll bar, alright. I'm not going to have enough money for all the hats. Definitely not gonna have enough money. For the sunglasses. I can math that out. 47,400, I think, is how much I need to buy all this. You know what I'm gonna do? No. You know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go sell like the big nuggets and stuff that I don't need, which is pretty much everything because I'm done with the game now. But we're gonna go and generate some more capital that way. Wait, since when did I get 56 big nuggets? When did that happen? There was some side quest or something that gave this to me as an utterly ridiculous reward, wasn't there? Well, I guess I can afford every clothing item in the game now. Yeah, nothing else even matters at this point, does it? Right, where were we? So back to the important subject of wasting money. Let's have a look at these hats. Because it is not... Didn't mean to do that. It is not out of the question that I will actually like some of these hats. However, that one doesn't impress. This one doesn't really impress. I don't know what is Thunderbolty about that. This looks exactly the same. Is there like anything different on the back? No, not even. All right, well at least that's a different design. That's one of the Trilby hats. We got a fruit themed sports cap. Okay, that's kind of funny. I think I still like mine better, but that is kind of funny. Moving on, sunglasses. There's only 3 options here. I don't really care about any of them. They definitely make... Oh, wow. What is that? Dude, there's something on your face. That's like, you should get those off. I don't know how you can see through those. Alright, so that's it for Melee City. And is there one more in Seafolk Village? I'm gonna go and have a look at that. There is not, apparently. Okay, is that it? I'm assuming that there's none in Po Town. I'm assuming that there's nobody selling clothes here in Po Town. Yeah. Alright, well. Wait a minute. This is not what I think it is. This game just keeps throwing surprises at me, does it? Beat us 5 trainers and win a fabulous prize. Whenever I see that, I hear that in Chugga Conroy's voice as he introduces Throne controllers, which he always introduces by telling people that they have chances to win fabulous prizes. And they're usually a cross between, like, Amiibo and, like, memes. Anyway, let's get through this. That was a, what's the word? An excellent use of the last 5 minutes of my time. I got, like, I'm pretty sure, are these the same teams that they had, like, in the Nugget Bridge, like, section of, the original Red and Blue? I feel like they probably were. They were all level 30, which I don't think they were in the original games. I'm pretty sure that you fought this squad of trainers at, like, way earlier in the game than that. But, wow. Alright, I just earned a fabulous prize, another big nugget, which I just sold 56 of. Okay, I thought you were gonna say the fabulous prize was gonna be a battle with you. Oh, now we're talking. Yeah, there we go. Join us. Alright, I make you an offer you can't refuse. So we're gonna fight you, and I'm hoping that this guy is gonna have an actual team, this here veteran. Veteran Don. A little on the nose, are we? Was that your name in the original Red and Blue? The guy that fought you at the end of Nugget Bridge? I can't remember. Please don't be level 30. You're level 33. Well, malicious compliance. Let's just go and mow this guy down. The animation for Night Slash is mercifully not that long, which this could have taken a lot longer if the animation was like, you know, Draco Meteor or something. And a Zubat. So, ending this in style. And here we have a Night Slash, and we've got that's it for Veteran Don. I feel like you're maybe you should pick on someone your own size. Does that mean like pick on someone bigger than you or smaller? I don't remember if people say that when they think you're wasting their time by trying to fight you and they want you to go away, or if like they're beating you up and you want them to go away. Anyway. You wonder what Mr. Giovanni is up to now. Yeah, he was, screwing around, last I saw him. Anyway. Firstly, I suppose I'll talk a little bit about the Let's Play itself. I certainly had fun doing this project overall. I started it about a year ago, largely on a lark, because I saw the Lilo and Stitch movie and said, hey, Hawaii. And things kind of just happened from there. I wasn't completely sure if doing the Dragon Monotype team thing was a good idea, and it certainly performed about the same as I expected it to, in that it punched well above its weight in certain fights, whereas other fights just kind of shut it down completely, and that is kind of the risk that you run when you do monotypes. All 4 of the dragons on my team had their moments where Fushorda was like pure power, and where Stream Bakra was more like elegant power, I suppose. I kind of depended a lot more on extreme speed than I really wanted to. Anyway, Lok Vakor was the special attacking specialist, and Gon Lahas was kind of the utility player, the all-arounder. Pico, my starter from the beginning, providing some additional firepower, and Bird Brain. I have to say, last-minute addition to the team, but the whole second half of the game probably would have been way worse if he wasn't there. And he definitely kind of carried and or stalled my team through fights that they otherwise would have had basically no answers to. I don't really ever feel like doing a monotype run in a game again, certainly not in a Let's Play. But it was a fun experience to do once. Next time I play a Pokemon game, whenever that happens to be, I will definitely be going with a more normal team. That's normal in the sense of ordinary, not in the sense of, like, the default type in Pokemon. As for the game itself, I usually do a little review of these games as I Let's Play them. I feel like at this point, this has been a game that's been very, like, 8 out of 10. Which is something I often say about Skyrim, funnily enough. But in this case, like, this game always... It has some pretty good ideas. I like the Pokemon selection. I like most of the locations that you visit. The story is alright, on the sense of a Pokemon game. It's not, like, world-changing or anything, but it's definitely solid as far as Pokemon games go. But I feel like it is held back by a couple of, like, vaguely annoying things that it never really manages to shake off. For one, everyone does talk too long. That is just, like, there's no real way to put that any other way. People do talk too long in this game. I complained at a couple of points about the speed of, not lag, not like dropping frames or anything like that, but the actual speed of menu transitions, making it feel like the game is lagging. Which I did go back and I played a couple battles in the original Pokemon Sun, and it didn't do that in that game. The UI felt pretty snappy in the original Pokemon Sun, but here, the way the buttons, like, squash and stretch and slide off screen and on screen, it just adds enough of a delay every time you do pretty much anything in a menu that it feels like the game is lagging when it's not. Overall, that's a pretty minor nitpick. I liked the idea of what they were doing with a lot of the trials that they had you doing as an alternative to gyms, but I think most of them were just like, it felt like chores. Things like going and doing the little mini games in the Verdant Cavern felt like chores. Things like doing the Charger Bug minigame felt like chores. And I would have rather just had a traditional Pokemon gym where you go in, you might solve a light puzzle, but you fight a couple of trainers, and then you're at the gym leader. Because all it really boiled down to was a gym leader in, like, by a different name. I don't think it really worked. I'm glad that they went back to the way that things were before in Sword and Shield, because I think that just simplifies things. I liked most of the new Pokemon. There were a couple that I didn't care for, like Minior. I kind of, like, those don't do anything for me, and they're a pain to fight because of their ability. A couple of the more gimmicky ones, like Oricorio, is fine. The designs are neat. I got bored of fighting them after, like, the 4th time I saw that one. Was it a dancer? I think it was a dancer lady who had Oricorio who fought you in every meadow. Overall, I feel like Gen 7 was probably the point where they really tried experimenting with new things, possibly more than any other generation.
Hey.
And I don't just mean with things like just changing the names of gyms and making them weirder. I mean with other, like, minigame things like the Mantine Surfing or the Ultra Wormhole Spaces. And it's kind of funny because for the longest time, for the first, especially 5 or so generations, one of the biggest criticisms of Pokemon games was that they didn't really innovate, and that they didn't really change things, and that they didn't really, evolve with the times. But at the end of the day, they tried a lot of stuff like that here, and I didn't really care for most of it. Like, Mantine Surfing was interesting for all of about 30 seconds, and then after that, it was just kind of, like, in the way of getting to the next island between the first and the second island. Things like the Ultra Wormhole Space is interesting in concept, I guess. But, like, the controls are just bad, and I didn't really want to do it after the first couple of times. Like, the idea is interesting, like, the ability to collect Pokemon and to do challenges that give you access to Pokemon who are, like, legendary Pokemon who are not available otherwise. That is an interesting idea. but the way it was executed just wasn't good. It was a pain. It was difficult to navigate. It wasn't especially fun. Pokepelago, I have no idea what that side mode is, but they clearly put a lot of work into it that I will never see because I have zero interest in just tapping the bottom screen to pick up Pokebeans or whatever it was. And even like the Festival Plaza, part of the problem with the Festival Plaza I think was that it just wasn't very well explained. But also, I like Join Avenue in Gen 5, Black 2 and White 2, at least in part because it is simple and it's not difficult to understand. And I feel like by trying to improve on Join Avenue by making it more complicated, they made it more difficult to understand. They made it a little bit more difficult to get the rewards from the shops. They made it more difficult to level up the shops, and that kind of just gets in the way of the utility function that it serves to do things like effort value training, EV training Pokemon, and acquiring useful items for combat and that kind of thing, which is the utility that Join Avenue had in Gen 5 for things like power training your Pokemon for competitive. And again, I cannot emphasize enough, the fact that it took like 6 times longer to explain what it was in the first place definitely didn't help either. This section of the video is just turning into me complaining, isn't it? It's not all bad. I do like some of the things that they did. As far as like replacing HMs go, I said my part about why I think HMs were a good idea in the middle of the game when that happened, and like I do like the ride pager idea. I think that's cute. What most fan games do when they try to replace HMs is that they will just like give you an item called like the pickaxe or something, and that's a Rock Smash. And I'd rather have what they did here, the ride pager. It makes the world feel a little bit more connected to itself. Things like the boss trainers on routes. I actually really like that idea. That's something else that you sometimes saw in fan games, and I think it's a good idea in general because it gives you another way to sort of like benchmark yourself and see like, okay, the trainers on this route were easy. Let's see what the boss of the route is going to be like, or maybe the trainers on this route were a little harder. Let's have a real challenge by fighting the boss trainer and that kind of thing. I think that's I think there's a lot of utility in that. I also liked, and a lot of Pokemon games do have this sort of thing if you know where to look, but there was a lot of just funny stuff in this game. I love Team Skull. They're probably my favorite team anything in any Pokemon game that I've played so far. One of my favorite things, and I think I've told this story before, but one of my favorite things that's ever happened at MagFest was the year after Sun and Moon came out, and there were a bunch of people just dressed up in Team Skull cosplay, just dancing around the convention center. And you can see why. They're an easily likable group. They're just funny, they are well written. They get in your way and they make a mess of things, but at the end of the day, you kind of like seeing them around just because they're all goofballs. And God forbid, Hiker David. I can't believe they gave Hiker David a backstory in this game. Like, how could you possibly improve on Hiker David from the original Sun and Moon? And somehow they did. And a lot of other Pokemon games have this sort of thing if you know where to look too, but there are just like a lot of funny like side quests in this game. Like Pyukumuku Chuckin, or in the one hotel where you have to solve the mystery of who stole the berries, and it's not hard, but it is funny. The Alolan Executor, it's just funny. And as verbose as this game was, I enjoyed a lot of stuff like that. And lastly, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that this is just like a really good-looking game. This is the final main series pair of Pokemon games on the 3DS. I think for the most part by this point they had nailed down what the 3DS was good at doing. The frame rates in double battles where you fought alongside another NPC trainer notwithstanding, because that was just Lag City with 4 animated Pokemon and 4 animated trainers in the background. It's a little too much for the system to handle. It is a tropical island after all. There is no shortage of like interesting ways to fill levels in this game. Colorful scenery, pretty views, that kind of thing. I don't know, man. Anyway, thank you all very much for watching, everyone who decided to drop in. In particular, Sledge, who I know is in the comments of a solid majority of the last 75-odd videos. As for what's coming next, aside from Skyrim and obviously the game dev videos, I normally don't outright say what my plans are for my next Let's Play, like, until it actually starts going up, because sometimes plans do change at the last second. But I kind of feel like I've just got to commit to doing Final Fantasy II. It's been almost 10 years since I decided I was going to play all of these single-player numbered Final Fantasy games in a row, and so far I've only done one. And I feel like I've just got to verbally commit to doing more of them if I want to ever, like, finish this project before I die. There's also the possibility of Angels with Scaly Wings 2 coming out at some point in the nearish future. I'm not sure if I'm going to play/read that immediately when it does come out, but that's another one that we might see a bit of video-wise. Of course, Backyard Baseball, the new Backyard Baseball game. I'd like to stream a little bit more of that sometime soon. Haven't had a ton of time. I liked what I played of it so far. I'd like to play a little bit more. But I think that's enough for now. My name is Dragonite. This has been Pokemon Ultra Moon. You should all go check out Wizarducks and the Lost Hat, which is one of the games that I like to work on when I'm not doing YouTube stuff. Link to the Steam page can be found down below. I like to compare it to the top-down Legend of Zelda games. You are a magic duck using magic spells to solve puzzles and whatnot. I hope you all enjoyed that, and I will see you all later.